say, I'm not doing again. Go your way, brother. Let me go my way. But marriage, bolon law. Tell me, ebe ki. That was how your sister was in it, my dear. I saw Shege. No, scratch that. I saw Shege Pro Max. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm so excited today. I don't even know why I'm so excited, but it's a very hot afternoon right now, and I'm high in spirit. I'm always very high in spirit, but sometimes I'm a bit higher in spirit. Don't mind me. How you guys doing? You already know it's your girl Joy here, and over here we talk business, faith, life, motherhood, and general nonsense. And first of all, I want to say a big shout out to my friend Obi for getting me this necklace. Guys, can you see my necklace? This is my birthday gifts, okay, for this year, and I'm so happy. I love it so much. I wore it today for the first time, and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Obi. Thank you. Anyway, guys, today you already know what we're talking about because I'm sure you must have seen the thumbnail. Let's talk long distance relationship. I'm laughing right now because it is funny. I mean, you know when you've gone through a phase or a season in your life and then you get to laugh about it. But when you were in that season, nothing was funny. Absolutely nothing. Nothing was worth laughing about. Guys, I don't know about you, but long distance relationship, it is not for the faint-hearted. This is story time session. I'm going to give you the story of my life. Some of you already know me because obviously you're following me because you've had a personal or one-on-one relationship with me, but I don't talk about these things enough. And I know that very few people know about this part of my life. But I'm going to talk to you about it because it just might be inspiring somebody. You never know. Anyway, so I got married April 2019. Okay, and prior to getting married, I had known my partner, my husband, for 4 years. The first 2 years, he was trying to woo me, and I was doing shakara. I'll do a video on that. Maybe invite him here so that we'll have that chat, and he will tell you. You hear it from the horse's mouth. Anyways, so the first 2 years were just getting to know each other, you know, back and forth, and then the third year we started dating. So in the season of our dating, he mentioned that he was going to relocate. He wanted to relocate. He didn't like the idea of living in Nigeria. By the way, if you don't already know, I am Nigerian and I used to live in Lagos, Nigeria. In fact, I lived in Lagos, Nigeria all my life before I relocated to Queensland, Australia. Yes, just to give you a clearer picture. Anyways, so he mentioned that he wanted to japa, and I was like, my brother, this your dream is it's not aligning with my vision. I don't think I wanna do this. I don't think I wanna leave Nigeria because I am a fashion designer. Being a fashion designer in Nigeria I think I was a fashion designer in Nigeria for 4 years before I moved. So I had just started my business. It was beginning to flourish. I was gradually penetrating the Nigerian fashion industry. If you know Nigeria, you know that their fashion is top notch. I don't need to tell you. Haute couture, bridal, wedding, you know all that stuff. I was gradually beginning to penetrate the Nigerian fashion industry, the market. I think I had 2 celebrities that I was designing for at the time. So my business was just gradually coming to limelight, you know. Then I think if you know Ashwebi Bella, I think I had 3 features with Ashwebi Bella. Not paid, it was free. She just went to my page, saw my designs, and they were dope. And you know, so I was just gradually, you know, when you say you're beginning to blow, you know, I was just gradually wanting to blow. And Oga now said, this Japa thing, we have to consider it. And I'm like, Oga, if you want to do Japa, go. We are not destined for each other. We are not destined to marry, because if we are destined to marry, you cannot be telling me that kind of thing, you know. So I remember then when he mentioned it again, because after he said it the first time, I was like, oh, I don't want to hear it. Don't talk about it. Because for somebody who was just gradually picking her feet, in Nigeria trying to do a business. And mind you, prior to this, I graduated. I didn't do any 9 to 5. I didn't have any job. I just finished NYSC, went straight. In fact, not finished. I had just finished my studies, like my university. Went straight to learn fashion designing. From fashion design I went to NYSC, and I did it all through NYSC because that was the career path. That was what I wanted to do. I was so passionate. I am still very passionate about fashion designing. So imagine coming to tell me that kind of thing, and I said I didn't want to hear it. I didn't even entertain that conversation. So fast forward to 6 months before he unofficially proposed. I'm going to also do that video because fear Igbo men. Anyways, he mentioned it again. I was like, girl, I don't think Nigeria is for us. I don't think we're going to thrive here. And I'm like, boy, I'm already thriving. I'm doing it. Okay, I'm doing what I should do. Anyway, so he came again. I was like, let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. What do you think? Do you see yourself relocating? I'm like, I've never thought about it. And to be honest, I had never, ever thought about relocating. I had never entertained that thought because I come from a very close-knitted family, a family where we all live like very close to each other. So back then in Nigeria, we used to live in Festac Amowo. If you know Festac Amowo, you know that, this person's house was like a stone throw from the other. We could just stroll to this person's house, take a bike. The farthest we lived was Lekki. That was when my aunt moved to Lekki, so she would come to the mainland. We were even still shuffling it then, but we all lived very close to each other. And imagine just you wanting to pluck me off and take me to far away land where I did not know nobody, even rats. I did not know. Let me continue my story. Anyway, so we had that conversation. He talked about it, and I was like, to be honest, you were everything I wanted in a man. I really, really liked him at the time, and I just knew he ticked all the boxes for me, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, vibe like, he was and still is my best friend. So I was like, you know what? Enough of fighting about this. We've fought about it a lot. We've had arguments upon arguments because at the time I was so pissed that he was even considering that. I thought it was selfish of him, and I told him outrightly, boy, don't you think this is being selfish? Just taking me out for my family, And I said, you know what? It's time to pray about it. Let's table it before the feet of God. Let's tell God what your plans are. At this point, I'm not going to say anything. Let's talk to God about it. So we prayed, we kept praying, this was before we got married. So mind you, Oga knew he was going to marry me. This is not the one that you are going to japa with somebody that have not paid your bride price, okay? He knew he was going to marry me. That's why we had the conversation. So I was happy to go ahead with the marriage because, like I said, he ticked all the boxes for me. He is such an amazing person. So I said, no worries, let's pray about it. So we started praying. 3 months down the line, he had it more, he felt it even more strongly in his spirit that he wanted to leave, and I think I just need to put this out. I think that's one thing I feel or I understand about prayer. Sometimes when you pray about something, the more you pray, if you keep having the nudge to do that thing, if you keep having the push, it just means it's God's way of confirming. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is God's way of confirming. Because there are times I've prayed about something, and the more I pray about it, the more I have less interest. The more I feel like, oh, I don't think this is what I want to do. I don't think this is what God wants me to do, So yeah, so the more we talk, the more we prayed about it together as an intending couple and individually, because I also prayed about it, to be honest. I was so worried. I was so upset. I was worried. I was upset. And I was, it kind of gave me cold feet for a very long time. But I prayed about it, and the more he talked about it, the more I was like, okay, tell me more. What's your plan? So I gradually started entertaining the thought of relocating, and then we started the process. They gave me admission because the plan was for me to come and do my master's program here. They gave me admission. Before we knew it, in less than 4 weeks, I got visa. I'm like, is this God's way of saying, my dear, it's time to japa? And I was like, okay, no worries, let's go. So while we're trying to process the visa, the plan was for us to go together as a couple. Now, this is where it gets tricky and even interesting. The plan was for us to move together. So we had spoken to our agent about our plan to move together, because I'll just take it back a bit. Remember, at this time, we were planning to get married. That was before before we started the visa process. We had gotten married. Okay, we had gotten married. I got married in April. We started the visa process May. Okay, so we started doing everything. We spoke to our agent. He was, say, oh, that year, that's okay. You need, this is the amount you need in your account. This is what you need. By the way, if you need me to do a proper video to tell you how I jackpot, let me know in the comment section, and your girl will deliver. I will deliver. Let's continue. Anyway, so we had started the process, and before we told our agent I wanted to go together because we knew couple at the time. Let me now retrace this. At the time, after we got married, I was still in my family house, okay, because my business was in my house. Like, I turned my whole living area to my store, okay, because I had a bit of workers working for me, so I needed more space. So at the time, I was still in my store. So from the time I got married to the time I eventually moved into my husband's house, sounds so Nigerian. From the time I got married to the time I moved to my partner's house, it was April to June, July. That was when I moved. So all the while I was still, living in my family house at the time. So from July to October, because I left Nigeria October 2019. So from July to October, that was like 3 months, barely 3 months. So I had just stayed 3 months with my husband, who I got married to traditionally and legally before I left, right? In July, our agent called to say, oh, this is the situation because of the bank statements, blah, blah, blah. We need more millions. And because we didn't have it at the time, one person has to stay back and one person has to go, just so they don't deny the both of us. And we're like, bruh, that was not the plan. The plan was for us to go together as a couple. I cannot survive without my husband, because obviously I'm going to a strange land where I don't know anybody. We had a few, when you hear people say, oh, I live in Australia, but we didn't know them. They were not family. They were not close to us, okay? I didn't even know them personally. It was my husband that knew them. So personally, I didn't know anybody that was living in Australia prior to coming to this country. So when he told us, my husband was like, we had gone too far to turn back now. I think then we already got admission. Even I think the school had given us admission, so it was too late a time to turn back and say we're no longer doing. I said, oh. My husband was like, since you're the primary applicant, you need to go, and I'll step back and I'll come after 3 months, because the plan was for him to come 3 months after I come to Australia. So we said, no worries. I relocated. We started process for my husband. It didn't take time, because in Australia, the partnership visa, which is one beautiful thing I love about this country, the partnership visa doesn't take time. Okay, it took less than 6 weeks and it came out. And then 2 weeks, it came out. My husband had his visa 2 weeks before, because obviously at the time he was running a business, so he had his thing going on for him. So by the time we put in the visa and the visa came out, it took him a bit of time to get his things together, pack up, close down business, and then relocate. The next thing, we had that COVID struck. Guys, see, if this 2-year pandemic that happened did not affect you in any way, you don't know what God did for you. Take it from me. You don't know what God did for you. You see, that pandemic, it pandemized my life. I'm not capping. Like that. Oh, we're planning for him to, to come over. The next thing, they said they've closed border, global shutdown. All countries of the world shut down. Trust Australia now. They were even the first to shut down, because this ones, they are very, very proactive. They shut down. At this time, he had shut down business, put in a thing or two, and they closed border. I know what that means. So Nigerian border was closed, Australian border was closed. There was no way he could move. So we thought it was something that would last for, say, 2 months, max 3 months. 2 months turned to 5 months. 5 months turned to 1 year. 1 year turned to 1 year 7 months. Imagine somebody who moved to a country where you did not know anybody, and just like that, you had to live by yourself for 1 year, 7 months. That was the toughest phase of our marriage. I know by the special grace of God, I'm not going to see anything that is tougher than what I've seen in this marriage. But you see that one, and for someone who was just new in marriage, and you know what they say about first year of marriage being tough already. You know, when you say it's already tough because you're getting to know each other, you're going to have clashes here and there. Most first year marriages are not rosy, let's be honest, because you're getting to know each other. You're two different people from two different backgrounds coming to live together, and you know, it's not going to be rosy. So that was already a factor that I was dealing with. And then you brought long distance marriage. If it was relationship, you can say, I'm not doing again. Go your way, brother. Let me go my way. But marriage, bolonlo. Tell me, ebe that was how your sister was in it, my dear. I saw Shege. No, scratch that. I saw Shege Pro Max. To be honest, long distance relationship or marriage is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. That 1 year, 7 months was the most trying phase of our marriage. Emotionally, financially, name it. It was tough. But thank God we don't look like what we go through. At the time, if you see me, I will come on social media, I will dress up, I will pose, Ichena, all is well. My dear, I was going through depression pro max. Anyways, to be honest, it's not easy. I don't know how you people do it. I don't know how people live. I even know people. I see a lot of families where the husband is in diaspora, the wife is in Nigeria, and every year he'll come and impregnate the wife and go back. My dear, how do you do it? Because it can't be me. If it is be me, oh yeah, guy. I don't know how you guys do it. It's a lot, to be honest. But let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are about long distance marriage, because to be honest, personally, it's not funny. It's not something I wish for any woman or any marriage. It is at that point you would consider, in fact, you will reevaluate that marriage. You'll be asking yourself, am I destined to marry this person? Because when you people are together in one room, there's already chaos. Imagine when you're now far apart and a lot of things are not just, you know what I mean? I don't know, it didn't work well for me, but I'm grateful to God that we went through that season of our marriage. We went through it and we came out better, stronger, more in love, more gracious. You know, we came out edified. That's the word. It edified us in all ramifications of the word. We came out better people, better husband and wife. And I feel like it made me appreciate him more, and he appreciated me even more, just because he didn't believe I was going to survive by myself. You know, he didn't believe I was going to woman up, because I womaned up. I had to go in there. I had to go into the streets and do what I had to do, you know, for my family. And he made us better people, you know, and I'm grateful to be reunited with him. I mean, I got reunited with him in 2021. He eventually came to Australia June 2021, and God has been faithful ever since. And I can't even begin to tell you how God has changed our lives in so many ways. I mean, God has been so faithful. Okay, so personally, I don't like the idea of distant marriage. It almost ruined my marriage, and to be honest with you, I'm not even capping. If not for God, if not for God, anyways, guys, tell me in the comment section if you've ever been in a long distance relationship or long distance marriage. How did that play out? Did it work? Did it not work? Did it go from relationship to marriage? Or let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. As you already know, we talk about a lot of very many things. Whatever you like, you're gonna hear it here, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and turn on your post notification, just so you know when I post a new video, because you already know, vibes on vibes. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, stay happy. Bye.